Imagine waking up one morning, grabbing your coffee, opening your inbox, and seeing a subpoena from Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds staring back at you. No warning, no conversation, just a legal demand to hand over your communications, all because you posted a few online videos based on public court filings and opinions shared by thousands. Sounds like a joke, right? But this isn't fiction, it's real. And what happened next? Well, it might be one of the most unexpectedly brilliant, hilarious, and powerful responses we've seen to Hollywood intimidation tactics in years. One independent YouTuber with nothing but a camera, their voice, and a fierce understanding of the digital space took that subpoena and turned it on its head. What could have been a quiet, fearful moment became a viral explosion, not through hate, not through rage, but through clarity, confidence, and absolutely savage honesty. In a few short videos, this creator dismantled the logic behind the subpoena, called out the larger implications, and flipped the entire narrative, winning the internet's support and putting serious heat on the Hollywood power couple who tried to control the conversation. This is the story of how a single YouTuber outsmarted Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, sparked a free speech movement across the internet, and proved once and for all that in this new age of media, the microphone doesn't belong to the most famous, it belongs to the most fearless. And trust me, you do not want to miss what comes next. In the whirlwind of Hollywood drama that continues to escalate with every new legal filing, one moment has stood out from the rest, and not because of a bombshell court revelation or some secret leaked footage, but because a content creator on YouTube just flipped the script on Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds in the most unexpected and frankly hilarious way possible. What started as an intense legal battle between Blake Lively and actor-director Justin Baldoni has morphed into something far more complicated and chaotic, with YouTubers now becoming central figures in a public showdown. At the heart of the chaos is a subpoena, a legal document demanding evidence or testimony sent by Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds' legal team to multiple creators. The move was controversial from the start. Many observers, both legal experts and fans, questioned why celebrities of their stature would go after online commentators whose only crime was analyzing public court filings and giving opinion-based takes. But the twist: one YouTuber didn't just comply or fight back in silence. Instead, they responded in a way so sharp, so witty, and so thoroughly unexpected that it's quickly becoming one of the most talked about moments of the case. It all began when this YouTuber, known for their deep dive commentary and clever delivery, revealed that they had received a subpoena from Lively and Reynolds' attorneys. While some creators reacted with concern, fear, or even went quiet altogether, this one decided to take a different approach. In a video now going viral, they read through the subpoena out loud, calmly, clearly, and with a flair for theatrical emphasis. But what came next was the real kicker. They broke it all down with logic, legal analysis, and humor so biting that even some Hollywood insiders couldn't help but laugh. The video was a masterclass in self-awareness and confidence under pressure. Without insulting or attacking, the YouTuber pointed out the irony in being subpoenaed for giving opinions based on publicly available documents. "I'm not a lawyer," they said, "but I don't think it's illegal to say this seems shady." The line instantly trended across social media. What made the moment even more powerful was how it exposed the disconnect between Hollywood's traditional PR and legal playbook and the new digital world where creators operate. In the past, a celebrity might try to silence a tabloid or an entertainment site. But in today's world, the influencers and independent commentators have communities, and those communities fight back. As the video gained traction, viewers flooded the comments with support memes and even legal suggestions. One person wrote, "This is giving David versus Goliath, and I'm here for it." Another chimed in, "Imagine being so famous that you're threatened by a YouTuber with a microphone and a laptop." But it wasn't just fans who noticed. Within 24 hours, legal commentators began dissecting the YouTuber's response, and to many it was surprisingly solid. Lawyers on TikTok, Instagram, and even LinkedIn weighed in, praising the clarity with which the YouTuber explained their rights and responsibilities. One entertainment attorney even posted a reaction video saying, "This is how you handle a subpoena, with dignity and confidence, bravo." Meanwhile, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds' legal team remained silent, at least in public. No statements were issued and no retractions were made. But the damage to their strategy, at least in the court of public opinion, was immediate. Instead of painting themselves as victims of misinformation, the couple now appeared to be attempting to intimidate critics. That perception, fair or not, was gaining traction rapidly. And perhaps the most telling detail of all, within days of the video's release, several other creators who had also received subpoenas quietly shared that they were consulting with legal counsel and reconsidering their approach. Some even hinted that they too might go public. But no one could deny the YouTuber's bold and hilarious response had changed the narrative. The brilliance of this YouTuber's approach wasn't just in the way they delivered their message, it was in how they framed it. Instead of painting themselves as a victim, they leaned into the absurdity of the situation. Imagine getting sued for saying rich people are dramatic, they joked in the video, prompting an eruption of laughter from their audience. But beyond the jokes, there was a strong underlying point. This wasn't just about one creator, this was about a bigger pattern, a concerning trend, where powerful individuals attempt to weaponize the legal system to silence online commentary. It raised a chilling question: if public figures can target YouTubers with legal threats for merely offering commentary, where does that line end? The video sparked a broader discussion across platforms like X, formerly Twitter, TikTok, and Reddit. The hashtag Subpoena saga started trending, with thousands chiming in with support for the creator. Legal YouTubers began offering resources and suggestions for dealing with subpoenas. One popular creator even offered to set up a legal defense fund, while others collaborated on a group response strategy. It was, in a word, a movement. Meanwhile, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds found themselves on the defensive. Public sentiment was shifting fast, and even some of their most loyal fans were asking tough questions. Why are they targeting small creators? One viral post asked, "Isn't this just bullying with a lawyer?" The irony, of course, is that the original intention behind the subpoenas may have been to quiet speculation, to regain control of the narrative. Instead, the response from this one YouTuber articulate funny, fearless blew that plan wide open. And the ripples didn't stop there. Entertainment outlets like BuzzFeed, News Insider, and The Hollywood Reporter picked up on the story, while many refrained from taking sides. The mere fact that the YouTuber's response was receiving national media attention spoke volumes. Suddenly, this wasn't just a legal issue, it was a cultural one. Journalists began exploring the broader implications of the subpoenas, questioning whether we were entering a new era of celebrity litigation where criticism was treated as defamation and public opinion was managed through legal threats. One op-ed from a major outlet noted, if celebrities begin treating digital creators as legal adversaries, they may find themselves losing not just control of the story, but control of their image. For Ryan Reynolds, in particular, known for his humor, self-deprecation, and savvy media image, the backlash felt especially unexpected. Fans who once praised him for his wit now wondered how he could co-sign such a heavy-handed legal strategy. "This doesn't feel like Deadpool," one fan wrote, echoing a sentiment that was spreading fast. And yet, through all of it, the original YouTuber who sparked the conversation kept their cool. They posted follow-up videos clarifying they weren't angry, just confused and slightly amused. "I'm not trying to be a hero," they said. "I just don't want to be a cautionary tale." Ironically, they were becoming something more powerful, a symbol, a reminder that in the age of independent media, a single voice can challenge even the most powerful in Hollywood and win hearts in the process. As the dust from the initial response settled, what emerged next was even more fascinating: the transformation of this one YouTuber from an individual creator into a voice of collective resistance. What began as a clever takedown of an unexpected subpoena had grown into a kind of digital rebellion, with other creators, journalists, lawyers, and even celebrities taking notice. The YouTuber's videos became appointment viewing. Their channel subscriber count skyrocketed. Daily uploads continued, each one walking through legal language, unpacking public documents, and responding to fan questions with a level of calm wit and transparency that stood in direct contrast to the silence from Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds' legal team. Viewers were hooked not just by the drama, but by the authenticity. It was clear this creator wasn't trying to stir the pot had already boiled over, and they were simply showing the audience what was inside. More than anything, this YouTuber exposed the human side of what it feels like to be dragged into a high-profile Hollywood dispute without warning. They spoke openly about the fear, the confusion, and the decision to speak up anyway, and it resonated. Thousands of comments poured in from people who had never heard of this legal case before but now felt personally invested. In one particularly memorable video, the creator said, "I'm not here to burn anyone down, but I also won't pretend this doesn't matter. If powerful people can use legal threats to intimidate you into silence, that's not just a problem for me, that's a problem for everyone." That sentiment hit home. It was no longer just about Blake or Ryan or even the court case with Justin Baldoni. It had become something bigger, a conversation about freedom of expression, about the right to criticize, and about how the internet has changed the landscape of power. Even traditional journalists, some of whom had once dismissed YouTube creators as amateurs, began reconsidering their stance. In a column for a prominent digital outlet, one media critic wrote, The most thoughtful legal commentary on this Hollywood lawsuit isn't coming from cable news. It's coming from a 30-year-old creator in their bedroom with a ring light and a laptop. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, things were beginning to shift in the legal world too. Other creators who had received subpoenas were now consulting with public interest lawyers and free speech advocates. One nonprofit organization reportedly reached out to the original YouTuber and offered to assist with legal counsel if needed, while another began drafting a general resource guide for digital creators facing legal threats from high-profile individuals. What had started as a one-off moment was now becoming a case study in law schools and journalism classes, and in PR boardrooms across the industry. But perhaps the most shocking moment came when another Hollywood actor, one not involved in the case, posted a cryptic message on social media that read, "Creators have more power than they know. Don't back down." Fans quickly speculated that this was a subtle show of support for the YouTuber and others caught in the legal fray. Whether that was the intention or not, it only added fuel to the fire. News cycles that had once focused solely on the Blake versus Baldoni courtroom drama now began pivoting with headlines like "YouTuber Outsmarts Celebrity Subpoena Public. Cheers Bold Response Creators versus Hollywood How One Subpoena Sparked a Free Speech Showdown. Blake Lively's PR problem grows as internet turns on subpoena strategy, and perhaps most ironically, Ryan Reynolds, a man whose reputation had long been built on clever one-liners, sharp satire, and an uncanny ability to manage his public persona, now found himself in the awkward position of being criticized for taking part in a strategy that seemed heavy-handed, corporate, and even out of touch. His fans, who once applauded his comedic takes and viral marketing campaigns, were now raising eyebrows. One comment on a fan page read, "How did we go from aviation gin commercials to suing YouTubers?" The backlash wasn't massive yet, but it was growing. Quiet murmurs were turning into louder conversations. And in the world of Hollywood, perception often matters more than facts. Interestingly, the YouTuber in question never once mentioned Ryan Reynolds directly in their response videos. They focused instead on the bigger issues: the legal threats, the chilling effect, the principle of open discourse. And in doing so, they positioned themselves as thoughtful, fair, and hard to dismiss. This wasn't about vendettas or gossip, this was about precedent, and they weren't alone anymore. Other creators began speaking out too. Some released videos reading excerpts from their own subpoenas. Others explained how they'd altered their content out of fear. But each one credited the original creator for giving them the courage to speak publicly. It was, as one viewer described it, a domino effect of truth-telling. And while Blake Lively and her team remained mostly silent, insiders began whispering that behind closed doors there was concern. Concern not just about the legal case, but about how this very public misstep might impact her brand long-term. Hollywood studios pay attention to public sentiment, so do advertising partners. And now what could have been a quiet legal maneuver had become a viral meme-worthy fiasco. The damage wasn't irreparable, but it was undeniable, and the YouTuber, they just kept uploading. In the ever-evolving landscape of media, power is no longer held exclusively by Hollywood elites or mainstream networks. It's distributed, digitized, and often housed in the unlikeliest of places: bedrooms, basements, laptops, and webcams. This case, or rather this cultural moment, has proven just how significant that shift truly is. One YouTuber, armed not with a legal team but with courage, logic, and humor, managed to reframe the entire conversation surrounding Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds' aggressive subpoena strategy. They didn't need a studio deal, a movie premiere, or a legal army to make an impact. All they needed was the truth, a camera, and the confidence to speak up when silence might have seemed easier, and in doing so, they not only defended themselves, they empowered an entire generation of digital creators to recognize their rights, their reach, and their responsibility. It's ironic, really. The attempt to silence criticism only amplified it. The effort to control the narrative only unraveled it further. And the decision to go after online voices that speak directly to millions backfired in a way no PR firm could have anticipated. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds may have thought they were simply protecting their reputations, asserting control over a narrative that had spun too far out of their hands. But in reality, they ignited a public conversation about power, accountability, and the ethics of celebrity influence in the digital age. Their silence in the wake of this viral response speaks volumes, not as an admission of guilt, but as a recognition that maybe, just maybe, they underestimated the intelligence and resilience of the very people they tried to quiet. The YouTuber, meanwhile, didn't just win in the court of public opinion. They carved out a new blueprint for creators facing similar pressures. Their response was bold but respectful, funny yet deeply informed. It was in many ways a masterclass in how to turn a potential legal threat into a defining moment of empowerment. This isn't just about one creator, one subpoena, or even one court case. It's about the future of commentary, critique, and conversation in a world where the line between celebrity and citizen continues to blur. It's about reminding everyone, whether you're in Beverly Hills or behind a keyboard, that speech still matters, truth still resonates, and no one is above being questioned. And most of all, it's about knowing that even when you're up against wealth, fame, and influence, sometimes, just sometimes, the right words can win the fight.